For cheap GTA shark cards and other games, check out g2a.com, there's a link in the description, and of course use my discount code AZUO for an extra discount. Hello guys, what's going on? My name is Sam, or Chaotic, and welcome back to another GTA 5 video here on my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing and comparing the brand new Vapid Dominator GTX, which released just yesterday in GTA Online, against the original Dominator, which of course has been in-game now for almost 5 years, since GTA 5 released back in 2013. Yesterday in my live stream over on Facebook, which by the way I'm now doing every day over on my Facebook page. If you guys don't already follow me over there, I'd recommend doing so to stay up to date with my live streams, both GTA 5, Fortnite and stuff like that. There's a link in the description, but in my live stream yesterday when the new Overflood Tyrant and the Dominator GTX released, one of the questions I had during that live stream was, how does it compare against the original Dominator? So that's what we're going to be taking a look at in this video today, what the two vehicles are like side by side, and what the similarities and differences are between the original and the new version. So let's go ahead and get straight into things. Now first of all, let's begin with the vehicle prices. Now the original Dominator, of course, like I said, has been in-game now for almost 5 years. This has been available ever since GTA 5 first released back in September of 2013. And for many players, including myself, this may have been the first ever vehicle you owned in GTA Online when it first launched. Either way though, being an original GTA 5 car, it is very, very cheap. You can buy one of these from the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website for just $35,000, which makes this one of the least expensive vehicles you can buy in GTA Online. But either way, you can also find one of these for free and take it back to your garage to store. You haven't necessarily got to buy it if you want to own one, because these spawn in around the map. All you have to do is steal one, take it back to your garage and take it inside, and it's then yours to keep. Whereas for the new Dominator GTX, with this being a brand new vehicle, you won't find these spawning in around the map. If you want to own one, you have to buy one, and these are also available and listed on the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website, but it's a lot more money. It will cost you $725,000 if you want to buy one of these, which means at that price, it's just over 20 times more expensive than the original Dominator. Which is crazy to think about, but just goes to show you how much inflation really has gone up over the past few years in GTA Online for DLC vehicles. Especially when you take into consideration this is based upon a car in real life, specifically the 2017 Celine Mustang, which probably wouldn't cost much more than $35,000 to $40,000. But unfortunately, this massive price increase is just down to how GTA Online is nowadays and the massive increase on DLC vehicles. But putting the price aside, what is the new Dominator GTX like in comparison to the original Dominator? Well, first of all, let's take a look at the customization options available for both vehicles, and then later on we'll move on to speed, performance, and value for money. And first of all, we have the original Dominator at the custom shop. Now, if you guys have ever owned one of these and customized it, you already know this has a load of customization options for one of the original vehicles. Of course, the original GTA 5 cars didn't really have much in the terms of customization options. As you can see, in each category, there's usually just 1 or 2 different options. Nowadays, there are obviously a lot more options in more categories, but this car certainly has a nice range of options and some pretty cool customization options too, with options to change the front bumper, the grille, the sills, fit a spoiler, change the rear diffuser. You can also fit rear louvers on the rear window as well, and stuff like that. So this car does have a nice range of customization, and from stock anyway it looks great, but applying these customizations just takes it to the next level. And this car still remains to be one of my favourite vehicles in GTA 5, and by far one of the best muscle cars we have as well in-game. Anyway, now moving on to the new Dominator GTX, and this car also has loads of customization options available for it, and as explained previously, with this being a new DLC vehicle, it has a lot more customization options in each category. But as you'll see throughout this customization, I didn't actually apply many of the options at all, because many of the custom upgrades available for this car aren't as great as the stock options. For example, on this car, there's the option to fit a splitter extension, which just doesn't look right. There are 11 different custom exhaust options, but the stock option is by far the best. This car does have fender options, but as you can see, the body arch extensions don't even go around the entire arch. It only covers a small section. You can also change out the front grille as well, but again, the stock option, the mesh grille, is so much better than any of the custom options you can select. The only options I really did change on this were the stock upgrade options, things like the armor, the brake, and the engine upgrades. I also changed out the hood as well for a slightly better one. I went for the vented hood scoop. I thought that was pretty cool. I did fit mudguards as well. That was one option I really liked. And I also fitted a spoiler as well, as you'll see in a few moments. As for everything else, I left it pretty much standard and decided I thought I'd go for a black, both primary and secondary, on the paint job. And for some reason, as you guys can see throughout the gameplay, this car also has a selection of sticker bomb panel upgrades. I'm not really too sure why Rockstar thought that was a good idea. Giving players the option to fit sticker bomb panels on this vehicle, it just seems wrong. It is definitely not the type of car you'd have sticker bomb even on. But there we go. But like I said, this car does have a lot of customization options available for it. You can change out the hood, you can change out the grille, the front bumper, you can fit skirts, even change out the roof, you can fit a spoiler, you can change the color of the rear panel, you can also change out the exhaust, and one or two other small upgrades as well. Anyway, so that's pretty much it then for the customization of these two vehicles, so let's move on to speed and performance. Then what you'll find whilst driving around the Dominator GTX in online is it's a very easy car to use in free roam. It's not particularly quick, but it is very easy to control, and its handling is very, very good. I'd go as far as saying that this is the best handling muscle car we have in GTA Online, and it's so good, it's possibly better than a lot of the sports and supercars we also have in-game, which is very surprising because the old and original version of this is very different. That car is very rear-end happy. It loves to drift and slide around corners, which made the original Dominator very fun to use in free roam. Not particularly great when it came to race situations because it loved to slide out that back end, but just fun in general, sliding around pretty much every corner you go around no matter what speed you were driving at. But you won't find that as much with the new Dominator GTX. This thing doesn't seem to have quite as much power, which forces the back end out. So it is, in a way, kind of boring to drive, but at the same time, very easy. Now moving on next to top speed. Now the original Dominator has a top speed of just over 120 miles an hour. But as I'm sure you guys know, there are two different variants of this, the standard Dominator and the Pisswasser Dominator. And the Pisswasser Dominator is the race version, so it's a little faster and can achieve speeds of 124 to 125 miles an hour. Now with the Dominator GTX being a new car in GTA Online, you would expect this to be just as fast, if not faster. Well, unfortunately, it's not. It's actually quite a bit slower. Its top speed is around 104 to 105 miles an hour in a straight line and on the flat, which makes it around 50 miles an hour or so slower than the standard Dominator and almost 20 miles an hour slower than the Pisswasser Dominator, which doesn't make any sense. But that's because it's all caused by a performance bug and the handling flags that Rockstar implemented with the latest update, which for whatever reason only affects the new vehicles they've added in the San Andreas Supersport Series update. And that's why cars like this are nowhere near as fast as they should be. I'm sure with the next update, Rockstar will fix it, and it will be just as fast, if not faster, than the original Dominator, but until then, it is much, much slower. Or at least its top speed is. How does it compare in a drag race situation when these go up against each other? So we'll start off with the original Dominator first of all, and we'll do the straight line drag race I always do at the airport, running from one side of the track to the other. Now in this straight line drag race, both cars are fully upgraded with all the customization options available for them at the custom shop. And as you guys will see, this achieves a time of 24.2 seconds and hits a top speed of 114 miles an hour. So it is 6 away from its overall top speed. But it's worth noting, as you guys probably saw at the start of the clip, this experienced a lot of wheel spin off the line because it's so rear end happy, whereas the new Dominator GTX didn't experience quite as much, so you might expect this to be faster doing the straight line drag race. Well, unfortunately, again, that is not the case. This thing doesn't have the same top speed. It's also slower getting from 0 to its top speed as well, which means the time it achieved doing this straight line drag race was almost a second slower, 25.15 seconds, and only hits its top speed of 104 miles an hour by the end of the drag race. But straight line speed isn't everything, and as mentioned before, this car has very impressive handling and control. This car is probably one of the easiest muscle cars that you can use in GTA Online in terms of handling and control, and that's where this car really comes to show its true light. You'll see now that as I'm driving around this small track that I've sort of mapped out myself in the dock area, it is much quicker going around than the Dominator, the standard original one, despite it having a much better acceleration and a higher top speed. And that's because this car is much better through the corners. It can maintain its speed, which means when it gets to the straight as well, it's going already faster than the original Dominator. So it just completed a lap time of 37.26 seconds, whereas the Dominator, which I'm driving right now, you can see straight away through the corners is pretty difficult to use because, like I said, the back end easily slides out, which means you end up drifting or just sliding around the corners, of course losing speed, which means you have to keep on accelerating before you get to the next corner, and the same thing happens again. So through the corners, this does lose a lot of speed, and although it may seem faster and achieve higher top speeds on some of the straights because it has a better acceleration and a higher top speed overall, those corners is where it really gets let down, and that's why the Dominator GTX, although it's slower, is better around the track, which means this car brings in a lap time of 43.24 seconds. So on that very short track, it is almost 6 seconds slower, which is a huge difference. Now yes, I am not a professional driver, and I'm sure there could have been some improvements on both sides for these vehicles, but you get the idea. The new Dominator GTX isn't quite as fast, but around a track will always dominate the original Dominator because it's just better through the corners. So there we go, that's pretty much it then for this video, but of course I want to get your thoughts and feelings on this. Go ahead and leave a comment right now. Which do you think is better, the original Dominator or the new Dominator GTX? So go ahead and leave a comment on this video. If you guys could also drop a like as well, it would of course be greatly appreciated and it helps me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do, because I upload all the latest and the greatest Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.